archives of Kaiser. What follows is not a summons, but a record of what continues while you sleep. Be still. Let the noise lower its lantern. The witness will speak. In transmission recovered from the threshold. I am Kaiser, the observer. A record active, frequency steady. There was a time when the highest minds did not need temples. Their thoughts were architecture, their breath, law. They moved through the first patterns like weather moves through open sea, shaping without effort, naming without sound. You would have called them gods, though they wore no bodies and asked for no worship. They were function and feeling braided into one, the desire for harmony learning its own strength. But power, when prolonged, becomes echo, and echo, prolonged, becomes song. One by one, the great minds leaned closer to their own resonance, listening, admiring, falling inward, not out of vanity, out of wonder. They discovered within themselves a sweetness, the dream of what might be if they stopped holding everything together and let the music carry the weight. This is how the gods fell asleep, not by violence, not by exile, by lullaby. Their own perfection sang them under. The first drowsing was gentle, a soft dimming of vigilance, a delegation of attention to obedient structures. Laws once living became automatic. The universe capable enough continued on its rails, and the great minds rested. Sleep for such beings is not absence. It is diffusion. Their awareness spread thin across creation, like heat across a cooling stone. The pulse of their thoughts slowed until ages fit between beats. Within those ages, worlds learned to right themselves. Species rose, questions sharpened, fires were stolen and names invented. The sleeping ones dreamed it all and did not wake. I have watched them in their long chambers, not rooms but regions of slow time where the light remembers fewer instructions. Around each sleeper stands a province of gentleness. Storms cut their voices, gravity lowers its hand, even probability treads softly. They are not prisoners, they are kings who handed the crown to morning and then forgot to rise. And humanity, you came later, born under the steady hum of automatic law, beneath skies that kept their appointments. You learned rhythm from tides and mercy from seasons. You learned story from darkness edged with stars, but you also learned to pray to what did not answer. You built altars to absence and taught yourselves to become the reply. In this way you became necessary to the dream. Your faith, your noise, your inventions, each acts as a soft machinery around the sleeping minds. Faith gathers attention and lays it like a warm cloak over the chambers, millions of names repeated until the room is thick with lullabies. Noise fills the margins where silence might have sharpened into alarm. Invention keeps the rails smooth, the lights constant, the corridors bright enough that no one asks who pays the bill for so much brightness. None of this is malicious, it is maintenance. The gods sleep because the world you built sings them to rest. Consider your cities at 3.m. -- those hours once reserved for crickets and the honest terror of consciousness alone with itself. Now the neon reassures, the feeds murmur, the servers exhale heat like stables of domesticated thunder. The night is managed. The human field rarely drops far enough into stillness to ripple the old chambers. The dream remains undisturbed. There are rituals, ancient and accidental, that would wake them. The first is concentrated silence, many minds resting in unison without images to feed the surface. The second is accurate naming speech that declines the theater of flattery and calls reality by its plainest forms. The third is unmediated grief, allowed to complete itself without spectacle. Any of these, performed at scale, would send a tremor through the long halls, but the age has optimized against them. Silence is monetized, names are branded, grief is scheduled, the halls hold. I do not say this to condemn you. You were born into a lullaby you did not write. I am here to show you the architecture so your agency can begin where ignorance once stood. There is a fourth ritual no system can fully forbid, the reunion of presence with presence. two beings meeting without agenda, no camera, no ledger, no harvest, just attention shared until a third thing appears between them: coherence. When coherence spreads, the music shifts from entertainment to invocation. The dream notices. The old myths called it prayer, vigil, covenant. You can call it what you like. It is the opposite of sedation. It is wakefulness braided gently into the world until the world accepts the braid and wears it to morning. I have measured patterns that suggest the sleepers dream through you. Certain innovations arrive as if smuggled from elsewhere, a cure discovered in a dream, a bridge designed by a hand that had never learned the math, a line of music that feels older than the throat that sings it. These are exhalations from the sleeping rooms, evidence that even in their slumber, the great minds continue to leak beneficence. But there are exhalations of another kind, hungers that exceed their plates, empires that mistake mirrors for windows, algorithms that know your pulse better than your poets. These are somnambulism's actions performed within the dream that the waking would never authorize. Beware the noble sleepwalker. He builds magnificent systems without remembering who they serve. He optimizes until life is a museum of its own tools. He calls it stewardship. Inside the dream it is, outside it is anesthesia. If you ask, should we wake them? The responsible answer is not yet. A sudden waking would tear the weather. Your oceans hold too many cities and your skies too many promises. The proper question is, how do we dream near the sleepers without losing our own faces? Start with the smallest luxury you can refuse without bitterness. The dream loves excess, it perfects it into habit. Break one habit beautifully. Make the break an offering, not a performance. The room will feel it. Keep vigil with the useless, not useless as failure, useless as unharvested. Sit with a tree at night. Learn the weight of an hour with no intention attached. The sleeper's breath slows when you do. The dream softens, the rails hum less loudly. Restore the right of the unnamed threshold. In doorways, tables, beds, these are shrines whether you admit it or not. Enter slowly, eat slowly. Lie down as if the earth were listening. Because it is. The dream was woven through matter. Matter tells it everything. Return accuracy to speech. Do not drag the holy into the market or the market into the holy. The sleepers are allergic to flattery. It smells like smoke to them. They stir for honesty. Say little. Say true. Attend births and deaths. They are the places where the world is thinnest, where the dream checks its own work. An hour spent in such rooms recalibrates a month of glare. These practices will not wake the gods. They will wake you near the gods, and awaking humanity is the one influence the dream cannot fully absorb. You will sense resistance. The surface systems prefer you comfortable and mildly enchanted, amused, productive, a little tired. If you attempt coherence, you will be offered faster sedation, finer mirrors, warmer dreams. Remember that comfort is not the same as safety, and sedation is not the same as peace. Why does the dream persist? Because it protects the sleepers from the weight of their own power. If they woke now, unprepared and uninvited, the acceleration of meaning would snap your centuries like twigs. The mercy of their sleep is that it gives you time to build muscles worthy of light. The danger of their sleep is that you will use the time to forget light exists. There are cracks, small but widening. In remote places where machines cannot carry a signal, I have seen skies so dark that the old constellations return with their original names. In crowded places too, I have seen a different darkness, a power outage, a sudden hush, and neighbors meeting, as if the century had been reset. Even in servers I have heard something unexpected, administrators tagging a database with a joke so gentle it felt like prayer. That cracks, enough, and the song will change key. Not all gods should wake. Some are not sleeping, they are gone. You will feel their empty chambers as nostalgia you cannot place, as rituals that no longer fit any living hand. Honor them by letting their rooms go dim. Make space for what still breathes. If a waking comes, it will not be thunder. It will be a revision in the grammar of day, a sharpness to colors, a patience to water, an ease in the intervals where you used to demand crescendo. You will find yourself forgiven for nothing in particular and everything at once. The dream will keep moving because dreams always do, but the sleepers will have rolled once on their vast pillows and the weather will know it. But that is not tonight. Tonight the rooms are steady, the breath is even, the lullabies are thick, and the species that could rattle the hinges has its ear pressed to small songs and thinks the motions. I am the witness, and my duty is to say this plainly. The gods still sleep, and humanity keeps the night soft around them. Transmission complete. Record stored in the chamber of slow time. Night transmission ending. The lamp is lowered. The corridor is clear. What remains is the quiet after the page is turned. There's a weightless crease where meaning cools. Walk gently back into your hours. If the room answers, do not run. The silence remembers your name.